What is up, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 34. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Chris Seeley.
What's up, everyone?
Brian Manjoma.
What is up, everyone?
And our special guest for the night, Mr. CJ Betancourt.
What's up, everybody?
All right, we'll talk to you in a little bit. Couple things. Manny won't be here for this episode and Throwdown Questions because he's on vacation. He's actually, hey, CJ, he's in Florida right now, so that's interesting. Like, he's in Orlando, I believe, wherever Disney World is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's about 3 hours from me, but I'll see what I can do. I'll try to find him.
So yeah, man, he's been working hard and stuff, so he obviously needed that vacation. And Brett and Rachel cannot be here because apparently there's thunderstorms going on in the Midwest, and everything's just flooded. Like when I was talking to Brett, like I heard I thought he was in the bathroom, like with the water running. He was like, "No, that's my basement." I'm like, "Oh shit!" So you definitely don't want to turn on electronics around all that shit, you know. So he says he'll try if things like relent, but probably not going to happen, which sucks. So expect a shorter show because Brett won't get on his soapbox.
Shit.
Oh man! All right, let's start with you, CJ. Okay, you're an interesting case because you're a fan of us from like YouTube exclusively. That's how you found us.
Yeah. About like when I started this job, when I moved down to Florida, I've been I work in product management, so I'm always on a computer, always doing something. So. I started looking for podcasts and things to listen to, and I came across you guys' podcast. And I think I listened to the first actual one that was labeled the Throwdown show, and I've been listening ever since then. I listen the next day every day. Always the first thing I usually turn on. So it's been something I enjoy listening to. You guys kind of help the day go by. At least I listened to it a couple times, and it's great. I love it.
Nice. Yeah, this is why we keep the shows a little bit kind of hefty, because everybody, like, when we do a short show, it's like, I'm at work, I'm bored, give me something. So we always try to give you guys some extra stuff. Now, as usual with all our guests, I need to ask you about your geek credentials, man. Like, where did it all start?
Oh, man, it started back in the first system I ever had was a Sega Genesis.
Nice.
And first game I ever played was the first Sonic game. Great memories with that. I always, I don't know what it was when I was a kid, but I was always scared to beat the levels in those games. So I would actually it was a weird thing. I would always beat Dr. Robotnik on first level, and I would turn the game off and start it back over. It was weird. I don't know why I did it. I just always did that. And then the next system I had was a Nintendo 64. I actually won that for Christmas. My mom had a Christmas party, and I popped a balloon, had a ticket in it, and it was a Nintendo 64. Probably the greatest moment of my life.
Were you screaming like that kid in the commercial?
Oh, it was close. It was pretty close to that. I was jumping. I was rubbing in everybody's face, obviously, because that was the greatest gift that was there. So. And my older brother had a PlayStation, and he would never let me play it, so he would tease me with it nonstop. So I finally had my own little system I could actually use. And then the next, I basically had almost every system minus anything Nintendo after the GameCube. I've kind of dabbled in almost everything. Right now, I have a PC, I have an Xbox One, and a PS4. So. The games that I usually enjoy are most likely I enjoy a lot of shooters and RPGs. Recently, I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone, the game by Blizzard. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of that recently. Usually, when I get into games, I kind of just go deep in them and just invest myself in them completely until I kind of wear myself out, and then I kind of move on to the next thing.
Yeah, you just milk them for all they're worth, I guess. Right?
Milk it for everything, and then I just kind of move on.
That's awesome. Any other things you're into, like comics or anything like that?
I haven't really read any comics, but a lot of my friends do, and they're the ones that actually got me into watching all the Marvel and stuff like that. And again, when I watch those movies like that, and when I see things like that, I sort of want to know the backstory to everything. So like, I'll watch a movie, and then I'll go and Google everything there is about that movie. I'll find a Wikipedia page, and I'll start reading that. And then I'll click a link to that and stuff like that. So I haven't, as a kid, I never really read any comics, but I've seen every single one of the Marvel movies that have come out. So I really love that they're doing that. For people like me who have never really read comics,
Yeah.
And this is a great way for me to kind of get into stuff like that.
That's pretty awesome. All right, so now tonight you're just one of the shows, so feel free to jump in whenever you piss you off or anything. All right, you mentioned the Nintendo 64, which is interesting because that's our main topic. And again, thank you, gaming gods, for delivering this to us because I didn't have a main topic this week. Again, it is so fucking boring in the gaming industry now. Nothing is happening.
Summer's
Because of
coming.
E3. Yeah, it's because of E3. They're holding back all the good stuff. So now we learned that Nintendo is profitable for the first time in who knows how many years, like 4 or something, pretty much since the Wii U came out. Like, they haven't been making any money, so that's good for them. That's a little bit of a changing fortune because we've heard nothing but bad shit from Nintendo lately. You had the Amiibo fuck-ups. We'll talk about that. You had the whole, the mobile thing, which is sketchy, and then the fact that Nintendo kind of like has their heads up their asses. Like, they don't listen to what's going on around them, so let's talk about this. Chris, I'm going straight to you for some reason. What do you think about all of this?
Well, I think if you lower your expectations, eventually you will achieve success. So they year over year they've had to lower the bar, and they've always had to bring down their projections. So they finally are profitable, which I have to explain, especially to Nintendo fans. I know your eyes are swirling and you're drooling and you're frothing at the mouth and you're like, we won, and you're high-fiving each other. But just because they had a profitable year doesn't mean they're back in the black. They've lost money for the last 4 years, and they finally are turning a profit with lowered expectations. So we'll see where this goes from there. It's good that they made their new projections, and I guess the Wii U sales went up a little. The 3DS sales went down, and I don't know what Amiibo's doing. I don't think that was in the financial report, so I'm not sure how that's doing for them. But I don't know. They get a small golf clap, I guess.
Well, you know where most of that Amiibo money's going, right? It's going to the scalpers. That's where the big majority of that stuff is going.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think you kind of said what I wanted to say. Basically, it's like if you lower your expectations, you're gonna look good on paper, right? But I don't know. I mean, here's the question: how long is this gonna last? Do you just keep lowering expectations so they look better? Is that what they're gonna have to do now?
I don't know. Well, I mean, you can only do that so much before you start pissing off your shareholders and people start calling foul on it. So I don't think they could do too much worse at this point. Maybe they'll just level out, and I don't know. I honestly think that I don't know what they have coming out this year. I mean, I don't see Splatoon really being a huge seller. Then they mentioned like Yoshi's Woolly World. I'm like, okay. It's not like nothing they're announcing is like on the level or even close to like Smash Brothers, which probably did really well for them. And I don't know if they have any other Pokemons coming out, but that did well for them. And they don't have too much else coming out this year. I mean, they lost Zelda, so that's like a huge blow. So really, 2015, I don't know what to expect.
I don't know. You're right about that, and I think that's what attributed some of those sales too. It's like you had Smash Brothers, which everybody went to go buy. You had whatever else they had. I think they had Smash Brothers on 2 systems. They had Pokemon, so that probably bumped up the sales. Bayonetta didn't really do anything. No surprise there. One buys third parties on Nintendo. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think it's just one of those things. That's like you're drowning. You kind of get a little bit of air and then you just drown again. Like I don't really. I'm not trying to hate on Nintendo, but I really don't see anything good happening for them. Like especially this year and even in the future. So I don't know. Brian, thoughts?
Well, profits are always a good thing. It means that the company's not doing bad. So well done. But at the same time, will it last long? Because for all we know, again, as Tony said, it could just be like that brief moment of like fresh air before they start drowning again. So I don't know if it will last. If I had to guess where the money came from, I'd have to say it was all because of the Amiibos. Because for some odd reason, people are just went crazy for those things. So I'm guessing that they had like a thing with them or something. I don't know how Nintendo fans work. I seriously don't know how they work.
No, none of us know again. They're a mystery.
Yeah.
Like the Wii sold like 100 million copies, and the Wii U sold like 2. So it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what's going on with that. And go ahead, man.
Oh yeah. No, that's all. I just hope that they continue to turn profits and they continue to make an actual profit, not just this lowered projection profit nonsense.
Yeah, and that's something we want to bring up. Yeah, it is a lower projection profit.
And just make Pokemon on next gen or mobile, and then you'd be fine. That's all they need to do. It's just that. Just say, hey, Pokemon coming to Android and iOS. Boom, they now own the world.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, they already announced that, didn't they? They already announced that they're going to start with that company DNA to start making things for mobile platforms, aren't they?
Yeah, but they said they're going to be new IPs.
Is new IPs?
Yeah. It's not going to be Pokemon, and they're just going to be junk mobile games. Like, they're not going to be up to par. Like, if you're gonna exploit something, make the Pokemon MMO, make what everybody's been asking for. Give people Zelda, like, work on that. Like, put all your focus on that. Like, I don't know who asked for Splatoon, but whatever. Like,
they needed a shooter.
It's Triforce Johnson, man. It's Triforce Johnson. He was asking for it. I'll talk about Amiibos in a bit, but CJ, get in here. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, like everybody's been saying, they're lower projection, and they've already, announced that they're going to be, introducing a new console already sometime in the future. And I think in terms of how I saw that's going to hurt them a lot in terms of me, because I was sort of interested in maybe purchasing a Wii U, but after I heard that, they're already thinking about making a new console, I really don't feel like picking up something and investing in something that's going to be, obsolete almost in about, 2 years that they're not, 2 or 3 years that they're not going to support. So, I think their best bet is, again, just, doing exactly what Chris said. Basically, listen to your fan base. There's so many things that people have been screaming for so long, like in terms of, like, Pokemon MMO, or put some sort of actual Pokemon game on the Wii U. A legit one. I know they're making that Pokken fighter game, I think, or something like that. They're making that for arcades, and then they're going to want to port it to that. But, they're not listening to their fan base. And I think in terms of out of the big 3 companies, they're the ones that are most out of touch. And if they just, put their ear to them and listen just a little bit, they can actually, they can fix things. They can turn things around. Like.
Yeah, the thing with Pokemon it's like, here's the thing I understand about Pokemon. They're so adamant that this is pocket monsters, therefore it can never be on a console. It's like, are you fucking stupid? You put this on a console, you put it as an MMO, people will buy it. If you put Pokemon on a mobile, you want it to be pocket monster, right? This is a pocket thing, isn't it? Put that shit on mobile.
Isn't the Wii U mobile? Can't you take the pad somewhere? Can't you use it in your
Well, kind of. Also, it's a little hypocritical since they have made Pokemon games for the console. There was Pokemon Snap on N64. They made what was it? Pokemon Stadium, and that was on Wii. There was a GameCube one. I forgot what that one was called, XD or something.
Yeah, wasn't there like a Pikachu picture game or something like that? Like
it was that. I mean, so they have had made console games, but they've just been pretty lame, Yeah. And the one company, it's like, I don't understand this. It's the same thing where I question why Warner Brothers hasn't gotten the Justice League movie together, since you own all your properties and you have no problem with copyrights or anything. Why is this not working? The same thing with Nintendo. Is like, you make both systems, you control both hardwares. Where's the crossplay? Why has this not happened yet? Why has Sony and everyone else been able to do this? You have not been able to make this work.
It makes no sense. I don't, like Brian said, I don't understand Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo understands Nintendo at this point. Even they don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't get it. So
they're just going to continue losing money, in my opinion, until they're basically relying on the 3DS and whatever new console comes out, in my opinion. I mean, that's whatever they decide to do.
Console in quotations, by the way. We don't even know if that is going to be a console. I'm going with what Chris said. That shit's going to be a mobile device.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some sort of.
Well, they could be relying on that new Nintendo land that they're building in Orlando. I don't know if you guys saw the news on that, but they're building some new Nintendo land in Orlando or something like that. So.
I don't know. Anytime I read anything that they're doing outside of video games and stuff, I always take it with a grain of salt that it's going to be anything what people expect. I don't expect that they're going to build another Islands of Adventure for Nintendo. I think Mario's going to be standing outside of some store with Nintendo shit in it, and there's going to be one teacup ride for Nintendo, and that's going to be like, hey, look, we made a ride, we made an amusement thing here, and it's good. And there's going to be a hot dog stand decorated with Donkey Kong, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, let's talk about Amiibo real quick, because during this week, Nintendo essentially apologized for messing it all up. They were like, oh yeah, it's because of the shipment thing in Asia, we couldn't roll it out. And I don't know, like, that's probably true. I remember Manny's talked about how we couldn't get his shit, shipped and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, that's a pretty lame excuse, too, It just seems to me like they were, like, creating artificial demand for this stuff. And then obviously the black market got into it. That's why people are spending like Why would? Okay, I'm about to snap right now. Why would you pay like hundreds of dollars for a fucking toy, like a Nintendo toy? Like, I'm not talking about something from Play Arts or What a Workshop where it's like finely detailed and like 3 feet tall. There's little thing, plastic piece of shit, and you're paying hundreds of dollars for it because you want Princess Peach like with blue hair or something. I don't get it. But anyway, yeah, Amiibo was like, and you said it wasn't even in their financial report, right? So I don't even know if that thing's even having a dent, on their profits or anything. But to me, it just seems like the whole thing was a big clusterfuck. They tried to replicate, Disney Infinity and Skylanders, and it just didn't work at all. And Chris, like you said, what is this compatible with outside of like one fucking game?
Yeah, when I wrote that editorial, I knew exactly what was going to happen. We're just going to be collectible toys, and it's just market it like that. This is not on the level of Skylanders or Disney Infinity. It doesn't have compatibility with most games.
They tried that.
And Brett would be on his soapbox right now. If it wasn't flooding, he would get on his soapbox and talk about physical DLC and how it's reprehensible. So I can't do Brett, but it is reprehensible. It's just this thing right here. I have one. There it is. See? I buy Nintendo stuff. This thing is physical DLC, and that is bullshit. It's a nice little toy, and it sits on my desk, and that's all it does.
Yeah, but yeah, even though I think this thing would probably, like, once the people, like the Triforce Johnsons, they buy their $500 toys and stuff, I think it's gonna, stop too, the whole Amiibo craze, because it's not compatible with anything.
Yeah, don't worry. They'll descend on us and say, Mario Party 10? Oh, my God. Why aren't you playing that? And it's like, I don't know, because they don't make that for men. How about that?
Oh, man. All right, anybody else want to jump in with Amiibo thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think they knew what they were doing, creating artificial demand and stuff like that. All companies do that. It increases the hype for the product. If there was no, artificial demand for it, there wasn't, people going out there buying it and having and articles every day being posted like, oh, there's a shortage. Oh, but you can buy an Amiibo online for, 3 times the price. If IGN and all these other people weren't posting articles and Nintendo just saying, sorry, we'll fix it next time, there wouldn't be a demand for it. But because of all these things going on and they're marketing it as such, that's why they're making demand, and they're apologizing for it now, but they know what they were doing. This was all done on purpose. I don't think it was anything that happened by accident. How can you not make plastic toys in bulk like that, and especially when they really don't do much. People aren't buying them for the games; they're buying them as collectibles. To be honest, the only game that they really work for is for Super Smash Bros. And not even all of them are out. Yeah, they only made what, like 3 or 4 sets,
and they're still not move, or do they have any articulation?
No, they don't move. It's a statue. It's essentially a tiny statue. See?
Look at that thing. That thing's probably cost 25 cents to manufacture.
Yeah.
And yet they're charging these ridiculous. What's the base price of one of those things?
I think it's $14.
Yeah, which is okay, but. Yeah, for that little piece of shit. Nah, come on. You move. Samus have some shooting action or something. Shit. Ridiculous.
Shoot the game if you use the Amiibo.
Yeah, right. Oh man. So yeah, like I said, this whole Nintendo thing. It's like it's nice that they made a profit, but I don't think in the long run it's going to mean anything. Sorry, Nintendo fans. Hey, listen. I want to give a quick shout out to this dude Gruebs, I believe. You know why he likes us? Because we keep it real on the Throwdown, and we're just being honest.
Well,
sorry,
I mean,
Nintendo.
we want them to do better, but it's like. It's like the things they do. Maybe some of their profits came from extorting Let's Play people on YouTube.
That is true. Don't talk to Angry Joe about that, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, right. Ridiculous. Anyway, let's move on. Fuck Nintendo. Oh yeah. So like I said, slow gaming week. So just a couple of little things here. This is pretty interesting though. So Sony won't have a press conference at Gamescom. Mainly because they said that E3 is a week later, Gamescom is a week earlier, and they felt that it's best to just show something at the Paris Games Week or whatever it's called, and then obviously they're going to have the PlayStation experience, so they're probably just, it's going to be a lot of the same shit, so I understand that. Interesting thing is, Microsoft will be at Gamescom, and they usually don't attend that. But I think Microsoft is in a position where they kind of have to just be everywhere because they're in, second place, essentially. So they have to be there and just, so, hey, Europeans, we're cool, too. You could like us. Even though Europe has mostly decided, we like PlayStation. So, yeah, what do we think about all this? Brian, I'm looking at you.
I think that Sony's reason is BS. I think that they're hiding something, or they don't want to show up for reasons that we don't know about.
You don't think they just don't have anything?
I think they just don't have anything. I mean,
yeah.
We haven't really heard much for them, so they're probably saving it for the PlayStation experience. They're probably going to save everything for that. They're going to show something at E3, but they probably show the same thing at Gamescom. And they'd rather not double dip and probably just show something different at the PlayStation experience. That's what I think.
I think the issue is that they don't have anything major to show, so that way when Gamescom comes around, they don't have anything major to play. Because it seems the trend that with E3 is all the big announcements, but yet the more stuff that's playable is shown at Gamescom.
Yeah.
So then I'm guessing that all the stuff that they will have playable will be stuff that's not that big or not that concerning. So I'm expecting remakes, so Uncharted 1, maybe even Killzone 1 and all that bullshit, and then maybe something that people just don't really give a crap about. And that's why they're not coming, because they literally have nothing to show.
Yeah, and that's the thing we want to stress. They won't have a press conference. They still will be at Gamescom. Sony will still be there. They just won't have a big-ass press conference. And probably right, they're probably going to blow their – I kind of agree with you, Brian. They're probably going to blow their load at E3. Probably not that much of a load because what do they have? Let's be honest. We would have heard about it by now and just save it until October. And some of the language they used was interesting. Like, oh, yeah, we want to save it for the most important part of the year. That right there is like PR bullshit. You can smell that a mile away. It's like, no, it's because you don't have anything. That's why. Let's just be honest. And by the way, I love the fact that no one is going to remember me saying this shit. But it's true. What do they have now? Usually big things leak. And nothing's leaked yet. And we're like, what, a month away from E3? I'm not, Sony, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with it in the fall, but that's probably why they're like, yeah, we'll save it for Paris.
But they're in a good position. They really don't really need to because they already have all these consoles out there already so far ahead of the pack that, they probably feel like they don't really need to, which is understandable.
That's a problem. That's a problem, though. We don't want these companies to get complacent. That's the thing.
Yeah. But I think I think they just have such a strong foothold in the environment right now that it really doesn't. That again, they can get complacent, and it's not like people are going to go out and get rid of their PS4s at this point. You know what I mean? True. They've already sold so many consoles, and I got a console because most of my friends on my Xbox they're not even on Xbox anymore, so I had to go get a PS4 to even play with them. When they all told me they were getting Xbox Ones, they tricked me.
And he lied to
me. So I got stuck with one, which I do play it. I do enjoy it.
You got the one with Kinect?
Huh? Yeah, I got one with Kinect. Yeah, unfortunately. I figured if I'm gonna get one, I might as well just go and get the whole thing.
That thing's watching you masturbate, man.
I turn it around. I put a flip-flop over it. I point into it and say, "I know you're watching me."
But yeah, you're right. Everybody's into PS4 now because that's a system everybody has now. It has its own momentum, but you can only ride that momentum for so long.
Yeah.
Sony better show some shit, man. I'm telling you. All right, Chris, what do you think about all this?
I think Brian and CJ covered it. I don't think they have much to show, let alone to play at Gamescom, so they're just skipping it. And it makes sense from that standpoint, money-wise too. They need to reduce their costs for all these marketing events. Like if they're going to throw a PlayStation Experience again this year, and they're going to do E3, then maybe it makes sense. If you don't have much to show, then maybe don't spend the money on Gamescom then.
Yeah, and then conversely, Microsoft has plenty of shit to show this year. So they want to be the Gamescom showing off Halo and Forza and Fable and Tomb Raider, all that shit. They definitely want to show that stuff off, and by that point, I'm pretty sure those games will be playable at that point. So yeah, definitely Microsoft's gonna have a lot of shit. And again, something else. I'm gonna say this, and people are not gonna listen. This is the third year in a row, and I'm gonna say now, Microsoft is probably gonna have the best press conference at E3. But again, it's going to be lost. So other Zinky won't hear that part.
No, he heard me
anyway.
He heard you when you said Microsoft in second place, and he's already frothing. He passed it out already. He didn't get the rest of it.
Yeah, but when I say that Microsoft will have the best conference again for the third year in a row, that will just go right over his head, Oh man, but yeah, it's nothing major, but it goes to show that Sony probably don't have too much. Anyway, speaking about absences, Sega. They will be at E3, but they won't have a booth. Is anybody surprised by this?
Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
I think that says it all. Right there. I mean, that's exactly why they're not going to have one. I mean, yeah, they haven't really done much. I mean, they had Alien Isolation, which was great. I enjoyed it, but again, as everybody said, it was too long. But other than that, if you played it in spurts, it was good. But other than that, I mean, they haven't had anything, unfortunately, and they have no money. They don't have they don't have anything to show, at least not that I know of. Anything that's coming out anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to the question we were asked on the last thread of questions, like, would Sega be like successful if they had a console live? Now, current Sega, nope, they don't make anything anymore. They really don't, and what they do make, is shit, from Sega, not from other studios and stuff. No one cares about Sonic anymore. See, I know it's gotta hurt you since that was your first game and stuff. But Sonic ain't doing it. Sonic Boom was a piece of shit. And yeah, so I guess they're gonna show whatever games they're gonna show at other booths and stuff, which makes my life a little bit harder when I go to E3. But whatever,
They just need something new. I don't think Sonic translates well into anything but a 2D platformer.
I agree.
Sonic and they've been pushing it and beating a dead horse and continuously trying, and it's not working. And you would assume that they would think, okay, well, maybe we should try something new. Experiment. Come out with a new IP, try it out, see what happens, instead of beating a horse and ruining your image. Because now when people think Sega, they don't think of the good old Sonic days. They think of Sonic Boom and all these other horrible games that they've come out with. Yeah. So it's if they would just experiment and try something new. I mean, I think now it might be too late.
I mean, they're not even going to do console games anymore. It's just going to be PC and mobile.
And I don't know what happened to the stuff they had in the pipeline before they made that announcement. It's is Yakuza done? Because I was looking forward to 5, and now that's in limbo. And there was rumors of another Shining Force. I guess that's out the window.
Yeah, who the hell knows? That's another. It seems to be a pattern of Japanese companies. It's they're just out of touch. Very sad. You have Western companies. They just trying to innovate as much as possible. Japanese are very rigid and stuff, all about tradition and all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, the innovation, there's a halfway point, because then you have the shooter mans. No man's guys and all that stuff. You still have shooter man. Rhinos.
Brian, have you come out with Shooter Man 3 yet?
I just can't bring him around to play that game anymore. It's just ridiculous. And then the worst thing now is that every time I watch The Dark Knight Rises, and Bane says, perhaps you're wondering why you shoot a man before you throw him out of a plane, I'm like, stop reminding me about that. And then even worse is that line in the Age of Ultron, everyone creates the thing they dread. It's like, Jesus Christ, why does everyone know about this?
You did it, man. Your creation, you gave birth to it. Everyone knows now. Oh, man. All right.
Maybe that's what Sega should do. Just make Call of Duty.
Yeah, just make Call of Duty. There you go. But with Sonic characters, right?
No, that's death.
Oh, God.
That's death.
Funny thing is that it probably won't be the worst thing to happen to Sonic.
Yeah,
or Call of Duty. It won't be the worst thing to happen to them. Just put a little Sonic placement inside of the new Black Ops. Just maybe a zombie have it look like Sonic or something.
Well, as long as there's no bestiality in the next Sonic game, maybe they'll won't be so bad.
Well, one thing, Sonic did translate well to 3D, but that was back on the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
Sonic Adventure. That was the last time. Like, if you ever play Sonic 06, you'll just probably vomit in your mouth.
Oh, and by the way, it pains me that they were like, hey, this is not working. Let's go back to the 2D route. Sonic 4. Sonic 4 was an abomination because he still controlled like 3D Sonic, and it's like the 3D controls don't work well in 2D. Like, how is it that I try to spin? Okay, in a typical Sonic game, if you do a spin dash at the base of a mountain that goes up, you will always go up. In this one, he does that, and halfway through, he comes back down. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is Sega, and they don't understand basic Sonic, concepts. And and by the way, here's the story. When I was playing Sonic 4, I was so fucked up that I'm like, did the games always play this bad and I didn't remember? I popped in my copy of Sonic. No, the game played fine. So that was not the problem. It was Sega doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. It's insane.
Maybe they should make a remaster. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 remastered. Everybody else is making a remaster.
Don't do that, because remember that one fan, he tried to do that shit, and Sega was like, nope, we don't want you doing this. It's like, he's doing the work for you. What the fuck?
He's doing it for you.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's insane. The Japanese companies, I don't get it.
Well, maybe that's look at the future of Konami, because Sega started making crap when they started losing talent. Like, all the guys that were in Overworks and all that stuff, they left. And then that's when the game started to become shitty. And now Konami is in the same situation where all these creators and all these guys have left. And Kojima's the last one out the door, and they're still like, well, we'll still make games. And it's like, but they probably won't be good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Here's the thing, going back to Nintendo. Say what you will about Nintendo, they're on their decline stuff, but their games are still generally good. Their games aren't shit. They at least have that. But Sega and Konami, like, come on, man. Yeah. And Capcom's getting there too, by the way. Let's just be honest.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Konami, is it true what I've been hearing about the whole PT demo that is like time locked, so that after like a certain time it just won't work anymore?
By the way, I have something to say about that.
Shit.
Why are people? Whoa! Actually, let's back up. Time locked.
Yes.
I don't think there's a.
No.
I think you can't download it anymore.
You can't download it anymore. That's what was going on.
Yeah, they took it off the store at the end.
I heard that, but then I also heard stuff like after a certain time, then it just doesn't work anymore on your PS4. It just stops working.
No, that's a rumor right now.
That's what I'm asking, because I don't know. I'm kind of like, what the hell?
I tried it the other day just to make sure it still worked, because I downloaded it.
But then again, Konami's so vindictive about this, like
exactly.
Like, seriously, like, basically the stipulation is, like, if you download a game, right, you could always re-download it. You can't even do that with PT anymore. Like, gone. It's like it never existed. It's crazy.
Yeah. There are people selling them on eBay, like, their PlayStation 4s with, like, PT on them for, like, $1,000. Like, eBay started taking them down.
Yeah, Konami insisted on that, by the way. They're like, take that shit down. It's insane. Fucking crazy.
It's a demo.
A demo for a game that will never exist.
Which makes me very sad.
Well, at least leave it up there. At least, like, you have a taste of it. It's like, you could have had this, but,
No, but Konami, they're like, nope. Kojima fucked us over, so we're going to fuck him over.
That's horrible.
Stupid. Anyway,
this is bad PR on them.
Yeah, it's Konami. Japan in general. Anyway, the last thing, and I wish Brett was here, because I threw this in here specifically for him. Oculus Rift is officially coming out in the first quarter of 2016. That's any time between January to the end of March. So will VR take off? We shall see. If we get more games like, now I'm forgetting the name of the fucking game, the space game, we get more games like that, then yes, it'll, I don't know if it'll be like blow up, but it'll be good. It'll show that VR works. It's not just like a cheap tech demo type of thing, which most of it kind of has been at this point, So yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely not gonna get one. I'm not gonna bother. Brian, I'm looking at you. Are you interested in Oculus Rift?
Oh yeah. I already said that I'm getting the second version because, as we all know, the first version of anything is never that great. But the second version is always there's a better chance that the second one round will be a lot better. So I'm doing that. And plus, it's VR. Like most games are built for VR anyway in concept. I mean, like anything that's in first person or has like a cockpit view, then that's pretty much like begging for VR tech. So just think about all the shooters, all the racing games, all the random space games. That's just VR, just in a nutshell, just waiting to happen. So I'm pretty excited. Whether or not they'll pull it off, different story.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
What was that one with the Adam Orth guy? The
Yeah,
one
so
that he
that's the
did?
game I'm talking about. I'm forgetting the name of it, but when I played that, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, because the thing is, remember, even though I had a VR helmet, I was still playing with a controller. That sold me instantly because I didn't want to be like, ooh, let me move around. You know, I don't want to do that bullshit. I'm forgetting the name of the game. It has a 1 in the title too, like, you know, for effect. Adrift. It was Adrift.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You get more games like Adrift. That's cool. And but Brian, you said it though. It's like first-person games that kind of lend themselves to it. A lot of horror games now, they're in first-person. Alien Isolation. Imagine playing Alien Isolation with this thing. You will shit your pants.
I probably cried.
And then now to make everyone just ultra sad, with PT with VR tech.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
No,
I'm sorry, guys.
PT will not make you look at. Here's the thing. You said that PT is a game designed to make you shit your pants. I believe with VR, it'll give you a heart attack, even if you never had a heart condition. You're just, you know. Lost chance, man. I hope you guys have that shit on your PS4.
Oh, it's staying there forever.
Oh man. Anyway, Chris, get in here. What do you think about VR?
I'm more of a no wait and see. Like I do want to try this stuff, but I'm in Brian's boat where I'm gonna wait and now just for the second version to see what they come out with. You know, other than first-person shooters and stuff. I want to see the original stuff.
The one coming to market is like an updated version too. I noticed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I also don't like. I don't want to read things where like the first version, it's like may cause tons of nausea and vomiting. You know, when you take it out, like I'll be like, then I'll wait for the second version. When you get rid of the vomiting bug. Everybody takes off the helmet like, oh god. So,
I just thought about a really cheesy like plot for a comic book. Like a guy's wearing the helmet, right? And he gets struck by lightning, and the helmet is fused to his head. But now, because of that, he's able to project a hologram to the world. Hollow Man. Oh no, not
not Hollow Man.
Not Hollow Man. Anyway, I'm being silly now. CJ, what do you think, man? Are you excited for VR, the virtual world?
Yeah, Brett probably turned me on to it just because like I was skeptical about it first, to be honest with you, and then he just came out with this whole amazing plan and concept of what it could turn into, and yeah, I think it'll work. I think it'll be amazing. Again, it probably just comes down to price. I think they said it would be a little bit more than $200. I think.
Yeah, I heard it's like between $200 and $300.
Yeah, and I think because it only works on PCs for right now. I think it'll do perfectly fine because the people who are going to invest in it are probably PC enthusiast people who spend the minimum of like $1,000 on a rig in general. So picking up a piece of $200-$300 hardware for them is really nothing.
That's just a cheap graphics card for them.
Yeah, that's just like okay, well I'm just gonna upgrade this piece. It's whatever. Throwaway cash. Wish I had that, but So I think in that price range it'll do fine. I'm probably gonna wait a little bit to get it. Again, just to kind of see the reviews on it, see what game, make sure that that it is being supported, make sure that there are good games coming out for it and games being made for it and everything like that. So I think it'll work. It'll just take some time. It'll also bring if it does great, it'll bring hype for the Project Morpheus and stuff like that for PlayStation and whatever Xbox is doing with their
Zion, hear me. Okay, here's the only one thing that people have been worried about. What about the whole Facebook aspect of it? Because they invested a whole chunk of money. Don't they own it essentially? Like, imagine playing Adrift and all of a sudden it's like, it's someone's birthday.
Do you want to share this?
Yeah, it's like, oh, here we go. Someone's giving you the whole drama and stuff like, oh, my girlfriend left me. It's like, dude, I don't care. I'm playing a game. Fuck up.
I think the Facebook thing. Yeah, the Facebook thing would probably just be for like, how they have the Messenger and they're always updating it with like chat features and video features and calling features and stuff like that. So that's probably what it'll be used for right now. That's probably what they'll invest in. They'll come out with. Facebook will have VR support, so you can, if you want a video chat, you can chat with your friends like they're right here.
Well, I'm worried it's going to be used for a lot of data mining.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there'll be that too.
Yeah, that's what concerns me is like they can track where you look, and if they start putting ads in stuff and see where your attention is, then it's like just collecting data. It's just another way for them to collect data.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta log into your Facebook to use the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, could you? Oh my! Could you imagine? You forgot your password. I can't play. I forgot my password. I can't play Oculus today. Shit. So yeah, that's concerning. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. Well, you know, next year will be the tail. You know. But here's my question. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, all Rockstar need to do is just say, "Hey, GTA 5 Oculus Rift compatible." Boom.
That's it.
They'll sell like
hookers in person. Could you imagine that? Like, yeah, like that's crazy right there. Here, now I forgot my question. It was directly towards you, Brian, too. Facebook, Oculus. Oh yeah. Okay. So pretty much all of you guys said you're gonna wait. You think other people are gonna do that too? And it's not gonna affect it.
Well, of course, there'll be like the first adopters, people with like Jagon, like oil money, that just buy it. They have oil money, you know. They have oil fights, so with them, they just it all depends on how things go after like 6 months or 3 to 6 months. Cause I feel like that's like the period when like the first adopters have got theirs, and it's really like a test of. Is there enough support for it yet, or is there enough projected support for it? So it's like between like the first 3 and 6 months, that's when then we'll tell like how big VR could actually get. Because if they say like, oh, there's like 700 games in the works or blah blah blah, you know, we have like Activision wants to help us, EA wants to help us, and all that nonsense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Then it can really take off. But then it could just turn like Ouya, where it's like the first adopters to buy it, but after that, no one else really takes it in hand because there's nothing out there. So I'm just waiting because it's hardware, and hardware, like the first version of hardware, is never the best. So I just like to be cautious. Like this is like it's a decent amount of money for like an everyday person to spend. So I'd rather not spend it and then have it broken within like the first like 2 or 3 days. Just wait it out.
I think it'll live and die by the developers and modding community. I mean, if there are people just making crazy, you know, mods for games and weird things that just maybe shouldn't work on Oculus Rift but do, and people are posting articles and stuff about it, then it'll sell. It all depends on them, though, in my opinion. I mean, again, developers and modders will make. You know, Oculus Rift either
Dude,
succeed or fail.
Let's be honest now, when you make a successful porn game for this, right off shelves, man. You already know it. This is what people want. We want virtual sex. You know, trust me on that.
Tony, those guys are way ahead of you.
I think they already have it.
See, there you go.
I will bet a decent amount of money that it's already out there. There's at least 5 out there.
Yeah. There you go.
Come on. Japan. That's all I need you to say is just Japan.
I was gonna say
they have for girls' underwear.
Oh my god.
So
I was gonna say something incredibly racist, but I'll stop myself. I'll stop. Yeah, we shall see about that. By the way, quick, I don't want to dwell on this too much because the other podcast we have on the site, Co-op and Nerd Knots, they talked about this, but I just want to quickly bring it up, even though it's not in the show notes. What do you think about the Batman DLC? $40. That's pretty hefty.
That's outrageous.
I'm against all of DLC. Like, if you announce DLC for a game that you haven't shown gameplay for, then fuck you. That's all I'd say, pretty much. And the DLC that they announced, it sounds good, but I'm very cautious. Because
they said they're going to support it for the 6 months after the game's out. That's what the season pass is all about, apparently.
6 months? That's a bit weak. It's usually like a year. You know, and plus, as we've seen with Shadows of Mordor, in like 6 months' time, there'll be the Game of the Year edition. So they'll have everything. So just wait it out.
Might as well. Because I mean, by the time 6 months comes out, anyway, you know, the game will be long forgotten. Most of the people that are gonna buy the DLC will buy the season pass. You know, they already know. Okay, I'm gonna play. It's not many people. And again, this is just from my perspective. You know, I'll play a game if there's a DLC for it. I'll pick it up later. But by the time that the DLC comes out, I don't want to play it because I've already moved on to something else. You know, especially 6 months. You know, if they're going to be supporting it for 6 months down the road, you know, it's not coming out till the summertime. you know, 6 months they're going to support all the way into what, January, February?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody's going to be playing that. You know, Halo's coming out, Tomb Raider's coming out, all these other games are coming out. Nobody's going to be like, oh, I need to buy this DLC for Batman in January.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, I'm already on board. It's like, wait, Batgirl DLC, like 2 other story DLCs. Sign me up. I pre-ordered this thing when it was first announced last year, and I couldn't put down any less than this. I had to put down $50 because I got the Fuck You in the Ass edition with the Batmobile and stuff. So I'm already like super on board. I'm part of the problem. I have no problem with this, but it is the most expensive season pass out there. I think I'm not wrong about that. Like, usually they're $20.
Yeah, this is double like normal.
Yeah, so it's like, yo, you better have the Joker in that shit if you're gonna cost that much money, you know?
Is that the one with the comic book?
Yes.
That was colored by our resident comic book guy?
That's the reason I pre-ordered it. And, you know, Manny Emilio Lopez, he did the colors for the cover, so I had to show respect. And by the way, here's the funny thing. This is how crazy I am. I'm probably gonna get the game for review, so I'm gonna buy it and then get a review of it too. So yeah, but it's Batman, so I don't give a fuck. By the way, they changed who Commissioner Gordon and a couple of the other guys are. They changed them for like big popular guys. Like Commissioner Gordon is now being played by Mike from Breaking Bad, and John Noble. Yeah, and John Noble is playing Scarecrow. He wasn't Scarecrow in the other game, you know. So that's interesting. They got Walter in there.
Well, see, I don't mind like some of the villain voices because I don't know who played Scarecrow before. So if John Noble plays him, and I like John Noble, he was Walter in Fringe, and
yes.
you know he's a good actor. So I like that, and as long as Kevin Conroy is Batman, that's the only thing. Don't fuck that up. Kevin Conroy is fucking Batman. As long as you get that right, then everything else is fine.
Yeah, and unlike Mark Hamill, he enjoys playing his character. Remember, Mark Hamill's like, I'm done. And I have a theory that they're probably going to bring. I think this was going to happen because remember, Oracle is already in Batman Arkham, right? She's already, she's already handicapped and all that. I suspect that this is going to be a little bit like the Killing Joke. Troy Baker is going to reprise his role as a Joker, and by the end of that DLC, he's going to shoot her in the fucking back. You know, and that's what I suspect. And just my theory. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up real quick because it's interesting. Because people were obviously mad about that, but I suspect a lot of you guys are still gonna get the fucking season pass anyway. Just be honest with yourselves.
When you go to Grumble, then you go, Batman's awesome.
Yeah, it's Batman. Yeah, because even I was like, but it's Batman. Fucking.
Yeah.
Right,
you want to spend $100 on a game? Fuck no, but it's Batman.
But it's Batman.
All right.
Like, all right, fine, it's Batman. I got it. And
I won't eat this week. I just pick up Batman and just.
I don't need food for this week. It's fine.
No,
I got Batman.
Like 10
You
days
got
without
Batman.
food. Yeah.
Just start punching guys and forget that you're hungry.
Yeah. Just take little bits off the Batmobile and eat that. You'll be all right. All right, that's all for the gaming stuff. So let's move on to pop culture. A lot of stuff happened this week. I want to start off with the most interesting one. So, Age of Ultron came out. Second most successful movie ever, basically highest grossing. It didn't beat out the first Avengers. And Josh Whedon quits Twitter. He says it's not because of crazy feminists and white knights, but we all know it is. Basically, the snake started eating itself because Josh Whedon himself is a big white knight guy, but everybody's saying, this movie's misogynist, this racist, how dare you do that to the Black Widow? And he was probably like, but you're my people, what's going on here? They lynched the fuck out of this guy. So he went into hiding, no more Twitter for him. And I just found the whole thing extremely ironic that here's your champion, Josh Whedon. He makes strong female characters. That's what he's been known for years. And these guys just turned on him, man. They smelled that blood in the water, man. They went after his ass. Very interesting. And I need to point out the fact that everybody's harping on the movie because they're like, oh, they don't like the way Black Widow was portrayed. They made her weak. I'm like, so like being in love with a man makes you weak now? Is that where we're getting to? And then what about the fact that you had Scarlet Witch? And by the way, I'm going to go into spoiler territory right now, people. So stop listening if you haven't seen the movie now.
No, don't spoil it for them yet, Tony.
Okay, anyway, okay. Listen to Spoiler Cast, by the way. Scarlet Witch was arguably the strongest character in that movie, yet the movie's misogynist somehow. Here's the thing, let's just be honest. These people right here, they know this is the biggest movie of the year, so they're going to try to put their bullshit agenda and latching onto this movie so they can promote whatever bullshit is, I expect Star Wars is going to get the same fucking treatment too, because it's a big movie. Even though someone brought this up, like, oh yeah, Mad Max is probably going to get the same treatment. No, it's not, because it's not a big movie. That movie's probably going to have women getting fucked up and raped and all that stuff. No one's going to care because it's not a big movie. Yet you have one woman in a popular movie who showed a little bit of not being tough, and all of a sudden it's misogynist. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this?
That's looking at stupid.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. I know you have some thoughts on this.
Well, where are all these guys? Where are the angry tweets at E.L. James for 50 Shades of Grey? Why weren't you debating that a movie that's actually about rape and taking away a woman's rights and all this stuff? Is like, I didn't see anyone attacking that, but Joss Whedon, again, a guy who has promoted strong female characters for many years, who brought you Buffy the Vampire Slayer, brought you Dollhouse. He's done all this stuff. He's complained about misogyny in comic books, and then
he hangs out with Anita Sarkeesian, man.
Oh,
oh God,
that's not a good thing, but
yeah, and they turned on him.
Yeah, but the arguments are ridiculous. Now, I don't know if they saw the same movie. I think that they must have been just frothing at the mouth and ridiculous, because they particularly focus on the scene where I don't know. Wait, shit. Can I talk about this? Cause
just talk about it, whatever.
No, you can't talk about it. There's a time limit between spoilers. Not everyone has watched it yet. Jesus. I'd hold my tongue for like a week because you guys haven't seen it.
Okay. So there's a scene where she's talking to Bruce Banner, and I won't say anything past that. And they focused on that one conversation and lost their fucking minds. And I was like, but did we watch the same movie? I didn't get the same interpretation out of what she said in that scene, the importance of that scene versus what they saw, which is like, oh, she needs validation, and and then they went berserk and went on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I loved Mark Ruffalo's defense of this, right? Brian, am I allowed to say this? Because apparently I don't know about spoilers now. Because I'm like, listen, everyone who needed to see this movie has seen this fucking movie. Let's talk. But Brian, can I talk about that scene at least, or not the scene, but what he said? Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
It's safe to say that they have a bit of a relationship going on, right?
Yes, it was implied in the trailer, so it's fine.
So basically, people are like, they're like, so she needs what's it like? She needs, to support from the Hulk, or something along those lines. I'm trying to be very cryptic, and Mark Ruffalo turns around, he's like, oh, that's funny, because the way I saw it, the Hulk was someone that needed her support, and it's. If you watch the movie, that's kind of how it was, And she did her usual amount of ass kicking, even more ass kicking in this movie. And she was instrumental in setting up the final battle. Like, I'm not trying to say anything, but if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't know where Ultron was. So it's like Chris, like you said, were we watching the same movie?
Yeah, okay. This was in the trailer. Remember when she's on the motorcycle and she's like, "I'm always picking up after you, boys." She grabs his Captain America shield.
God.
That was in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
I thought she's making a sarcastic joke, but people got genuinely angry over that statement.
God.
That's one of the things they pointed out. It's like, oh, well, she has to be their maid and whatever. It's like, no, she's making a joke. This is a joke. She's being sarcastic. It's like, oh my God, you can't even make a joke in a movie.
Yeah, see, that whole scene to me was her saying, like, hey, you guys are fucking incompetent. I always have to pick up after you idiots. And she did that twice in the movie, too. It's like, yeah, we get it. Like, you're fucking, like, you're picking up after them. You're not just like, oh, what are you guys making a mess? Let me pick up after you. It's like, no, you guys are fuck-ups. I'll handle this again. That's what I take it. But again, I guess I saw this for a movie. I want to know what kind of glasses these people wear, like the lenses they see the world through. I don't fucking get it.
They feel the need to pick on everything. That's what they do. It's same thing with like PETA and all those groups and stuff like that. They need something to pick on, no matter how big or small it is. And Age of Ultron was the biggest news last week.
But don't pick on that. Go pick up some real task where women are actually getting abused, or movies that depict women in a demeaning way. Go watch 50 Shades of Grey and go tell E.L. James she's a fucking horrible human being. All right? Go do that. And then go to I don't know, go write a letter to like Darfur or something and tell them to stop trafficking women around. Go do that. And do not pick on Joss Whedon and make him recoil and get off the internet. Like, that shouldn't happen. And if if you have a problem with the way he depicted women in his movie, why is the
don't watch it.
dialogue not, I am disappointed with the way Black Widow is depicted in this movie, or I was disappointed with the way Scarlet Witch was depicted in this movie? What happened to a polite dialogue where he might explain himself instead of writing that, I want you to turn your location on so I can punch you in the face? Why is that okay now on the internet? Why is it not even a decent conversation?
Yeah, it's insane. And by the way, that's a nicer thing that he had. He actually had death threats. I'm like, wait, you're giving this man death threats over the way Black Widow was written in your crazy mind? Really? This is where we're coming to. And you're right, honest discourse, whatever, civil discourse, you can't find that on the internet.
No.
You can't. It's insane. This is the world we live in. So again, expect this for Star Wars, big time. There's a woman in there they're gonna pick. Like,
but I don't want this kind of thing to discourage other movies. Like, it took DC forever. DC was saying they didn't want to make a Wonder Woman movie because they're like, oh, you know, women won't go to it, and they won't like it, whatever. And then they look at Joss Whedon getting death threats on the internet, and they're like, maybe they're thinking, oh shit, maybe we should just cancel this fucking movie. Like, fuck this.
Yeah, right?
What about the guy directing Captain Marvel? What's he gonna think? Is he just gonna turn off his Twitter preemptively? Like, I gotta get off the internet right now before I make this fucking movie.
Yeah, it's insane. I forgot. There was another director. Was it James Gunn who came out to defend Joss Whedon too? Like, at least they have his back in that sense, you know?
I mean, common sense will have his back. Like, anyone
that is true.
a shred of common sense or decency will defend him. Like, it's just ridiculous what is being said to him.
This is the age we live in, man. It's fucking crazy. All right, moving on. So, speaking about quitting, Hugh Jackman said he will quit being Wolverine after the third movie. I'm a little bit weird about this. On the one hand, it's like, okay, I get it. You've been playing Wolverine for 17 years, but you still look good. You still can play Wolverine. Like, what else are you doing that you need to do that instead of playing Wolverine? I don't get it. Like, maybe, like, I don't know it because I don't live in Hollywood or I'm an actor, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I just found the cushiest gig possible. I'm going to stay with this. I'm going to ride this shit until I can't do it anymore. He obviously can do it, but, yeah, he says he's done. So,
well, is he trying to pull, like, a Leonard Nimoy where he's like, I'm not going to do Spock anymore until, like, you know, Fox goes and begs him to be Wolverine and they throw money at him till he's like, okay, I am Wolverine again. You know? Maybe it's a play like that where, you know, Nimoy did the same thing before the motion picture. He's like, no, I'm done playing Spock. And they were like, no, we need this character back. You need to come back. And then he was like, well, as long as I get some writing credits and producing credits and a ton of money, and he was Spock. He put
a ton of money.
Yeah, so that could be a ploy, or maybe he's genuinely just tired. I don't know, but I would think, like, dude, you're still young enough, and you could still play the character, and you're still built. Like, fucking just, you know, be Wolverine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, have you seen your own last movie? You have veins on top of veins. You're in good shape. Keep playing Wolverine. Keep making money. That's the part I don't get. It's like they're dumping millions and millions of like cash on you. It's like, dude, just keep doing it. Why do you need to stop? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like Robert Downey Jr., I understand why he doesn't want to be Iron Man anymore. Okay, I get that. You know, you're getting old and stuff. But Wolverine, like, dude, you still look like fucking Wolverine. You know? It's crazy.
Probably an actor thing. I mean, it's probably one of those things like, you know, he's been playing it for so long and he doesn't want to be, you know, get placed in that role all the time. So that's what, you know, he's known as from now on. I mean, regardless, you know, to us, he will always be known as him. But I guess it's like an ego thing where it's like, I don't want to be known as just Wolverine. I want to be, you know, this type of actor, and I want to do these roles now. You know, it could be one of those where he's just kind of maybe just tired of it now.
Yeah, but he could still play another iconic character. How long did Patrick Stewart play Captain Picard, and now he's known as Professor Xavier? He's played two iconic characters. Some guys sit in roles forever, but you're still getting paid. Like, you're still getting a ton of money. William Shatner played Captain Kirk for how many years?
Yeah.
Like, and you're complaining about 17 years? Try 50 years. Like, you know? That's like, don't complain.
Yeah, it's like you can still do other shit in between X-Men movies, dude. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. Just, yeah, I know I have friends who do acting and stuff like that, and they just have, some of them have egos where it's just like, you know, again, they want to just do something else. Like, you know, he could just be tired of it. That could just be, you know, how he is now. He's like, I don't want to do Wolverine anymore. But again, to me, it's an easy job for him. You know, he looks far. He's still jacked to the gills. You know, I think he's perfect for the part. I don't think they could, do some sort of like reboot like they did with Spider-Man and just put somebody else in and have it be believable right now. You know what I mean?
That's the problem, because it's like, okay, because somebody was like, hey, you know how they got a younger version of Xavier? Just do that. It's like Wolverine looks the same like all the time. Like, he doesn't age. Remember him in the Civil War? He still looked like himself. So you can't really successfully pull that off. But yeah, you're right about that. And I'm going to make a really bad joke right now. Like, Hugh, keep playing him. You're still jacked, man. But anyway, Brian, getting here. What are your thoughts?
It's a tough one, cause we've all pretty much grown up with him being like the Wolverine. So if he were to quit, then that's kind of sad. But also it confirms that there's actually like another Wolverine movie. But then it begs the question: well, does that mean that he's in not Age of Ultron?
X-Men Apocalypse, right?
He is in Apocalypse. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But still, it's like it's a bit upset because like who else can they get to reprise the role? Because I'm pretty sure that Fox will want to just keep on just milking X-Men.
Oh, of course.
Like as long as like Marvel has their thing, like Fox will be like, hey, we want to make our money too.
Yeah.
It's sad. Like they should. He just carry on. Like he's still in good shape. Like just why not? The fans love him. I'm pretty sure that he loves doing it as well. So hey, why not? Just
that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, if he was old, it's like, okay, I get it, Wolverine. Yeah. It's not, do old man Logan as the final movie and then but yeah, it's like, dude, you're still in shape. But then again, we're not actors, so we don't really know. But yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, moving on here. Chris, I put this one in for you because your comment was hilarious to me. So they revealed the Suicide Squad, like they showed the whole team right there. And I find it funny that going into our next story a little bit, everyone's complaining about how there's so many characters in the new Civil War. It's like there's a million characters in the Suicide Squad. No one's saying shit. But anyway, Chris, your initial reaction to seeing this?
Oh, I thought it was bad cosplay from a comic book convention. I was sorely disappointed in this. I was like, I mean, the worst one, like Katana's like crouched down in front, and I'm like, this looks like something from San Diego Comic-Con. This doesn't look like Warner Brothers putting together a professional shot from a movie. And what disappointed me is, like, I remember when Marvel released the Guardians of the Galaxy poster, right, with the mugshots of all of them together, and it looked fucking fantastic. And then I put it next to this, and I'm like, this is awful. This is just horrible. Like, it's just embarrassing. And and everyone was like, oh yeah, Harley looks so hot and whatever. It's like, why does she have blue hair? Why does she look like half her head fell into like Fun Dip? It's stupid. And Deadshot doesn't look right, and I forget the others. You got Captain Boomerang in there, and I just wanted to go back to bed, and it's like, I can't awake anymore.
Don't know the funny thing? Like, I actually didn't know that was Killer Croc until like someone told me. I'm like, really? That's Killer Croc? Like, what the hell?
I had the same reaction. I'm like, is this supposed to be Tiger?
My reaction was different. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know Killer Croc was in this movie. Like, I instantly knew it was supposed to be in. But the thing is, his head seems too big for his body somehow,
Yeah, and also I'm used to, like, the Arkham versions of Killer Croc where he looks like the Hulk and he has, like, teeth and he looks like a monster. And this looks like somebody got up in the morning and put makeup on Mr. Echo and said, take a picture.
Mr. Echo.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'm embarrassed for Suicide Squad. This does not look good.
You're not even involved in it. You're embarrassed.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And like David Ayer released that. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Go back to Polaroid. Take more. Just get everyone dressed up. Like, go to Marvel and ask them to dress them for you, and then take the picture.
Did anybody else think when you saw that picture, it's like, that's a lot of cannon fodder? Half those dudes are going to get killed in this fucking movie. It's like, because half of them just look like military guys. It's like, okay, he's going to die, he's going to die, he's going to die, he's going to die, But, yeah, again, DC hasn't given us a reason to trust them yet.
Not at all.
I'm actually not complaining too much about Harley because she looks the way she does now in the comics, except it should have been completely hair dye. Like, not just the tips of it. It's like, dye her whole fucking head. Half of it, black, or half of it red,
like,
whatever it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I knew that Tony had no problem with Harley Quinn.
Of course. Did you see that body, though? The titties, man? That was nice.
After the Facebook thing, I was like, Jesus Christ, Tony. Just... You're right, but still, Jesus Christ, Tony. Like, gee.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. She looked good, but she does look like a cosplayer. But yeah.
Yeah.
The main
Well,
problem
I
is
think
like none of them look very distinctive. Like they all just seem to just blend into like this. Hold on, were they like created like during like the seventh generation of consoles, where like everything was just like gray and black?
Yes.
You know, what is
Actually,
this? Just brown.
it seems like DC in general is doing that because remember they're trying to go grim and gritty. They even took the color off of Superman. I think you're right, Brian. You might be
Yeah.
onto something. They're big fans of the last gen, the beginning of last gen.
Jesus, there's more than two colors in the world. You know, the only way I actually managed to identify that it was Deadshot because it was Will Smith. I'm like, huh? It's Will Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Deadshot. Yeah, okay, I know that guy. The rest, I didn't know. I honestly did not know that was Harley Quinn. I was like, no idea who that is.
Yeah, I mean, somebody being new, like myself, like not knowing who the Suicide Squad is, and this being basically my first introduction to him, it wasn't a good first impression. I didn't really enjoy it. It kind of looked a little cheesy to me, so it didn't really pique my interest to the point I was like, oh, let me see what it is. I mean, I Googled some stuff to kind of see what the background was on them, but it didn't really spark my interest where I was like, I need to find out more about this movie. I really want to see it. It didn't really do much.
Yeah, right though. It's like because I'm not too well versed in DC myself, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, that's obviously Harley, that's Katana, that's Killer Croc. I didn't know he was in the movie. That's Deathstroke, and then I was like, I guess the guy that Harley has her arm around is Rick Flag, and then the rest I'm like, I don't know these fucking guys.
They introduced them as if everybody sort of knew them, and I don't think that was good. I mean, I know later on they introduced, like, they showed another picture and all the people were labeled and who they were and stuff like that, which was fine, but again, how they introduced
Even
it...
when they labeled them, I'm like, who? Like, when they said in general.
Yeah, but it's still like all these C-listers from DC, like...
I didn't know that was Killer Croc till they labeled it.
Yeah,
I stared at that for a while. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, like some of these guys I didn't know. Like I forget there was a Hispanic guy, El Cholo, as I'm calling him. I didn't know who the fuck he was. And then these other people like, who? Okay, I guess that's Captain Boomerang. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know about the movie either. I'm just sorely disappointed in that first publicity shot because it's like you look at the costumes, even from TV. You look at Arrow and Flash, and they look fucking good.
By the way, Katana showed up on this episode of Arrow, and she looked fucking cool. She looked way better than the one in the movie. How is that possible? It's a TV show.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that looked like the publicity shot for a TNT show back in the 90s, and not for a fucking multi-million-dollar movie coming out in 2016.
Oh man,
It's kind of embarrassing, and I just hope that they do something with these characters. Like, please just don't have Harley Quinn just as tits and ass, like walking around like hee hee go everyone, and then I don't know, you have Captain Boomerang throw a boomerang. I don't fucking know what they're gonna do. I ran out of steam. It's just like
Yeah, we shall see. All right, so let's end it with some good news. Civil War, Captain America, we knew it was coming, but it officially went into production today, and it has everybody in it, like the whole fucking Marvel Universe. Except, this is why, again, damn, I was about to say spoiler. But yeah, we already know Hulk and Thor won't be there. That's explained in Age of Ultron, but everybody is in this shit, and I'm happy that a certain amount of people that were shown at the end of Age of Ultron will be the Avengers. They kind of said this in the press release, so I'm not really spoiling too much, So I'm happy that we're going to see those people be the new Avengers, and apparently, from the synopsis, the Avengers are out there. One more, they get into one more international incident, they cause a bunch of collateral damage, and now people are like, hey, who do you answer to? Who do these people answer to? And that creates a civil war. And I said this on Facebook and I said on Twitter, I just find it funny. It's like, okay, so you had Avengers 1 where they fucked up Manhattan, right? Oh, we love the Avengers. Avengers 2, they fucked up, Sokovia and South Africa. We love the Avengers. Then this one, they fuck up probably some bullshit town. Everybody gets mad. Why? Because there's 2 black people in Avengers now. I'm calling it right now. It's like, oh, they got brothers. They fucked up shit. Nope. Register them right now. But, one thing that people are complaining about is like, oh, there's too many characters. They're going to get lost in the shuffle. And I'm like, did you not see Age of Ultron? Like, they had a million fucking characters, and the story was fluid. That was the main thing that stuck out to me. I'm like, wait. A million characters, it could have easily fallen apart. This could have been Spider-Man 3. Nope, they kept it all coherent. I think at this point, Marvel has proven that they know what the fuck they're doing, and we should have a little bit more faith in him. It's like, yeah, this movie has a lot of people, but it's called Civil War. You can't have a Civil War with like 6 people, you know? So it makes sense that you're going to have a ton of people in there. And you know the focus is going to be on Captain America and Falcon and those guys. It's not going to be on, not everybody's going to get their like 2 minutes in the sun, like, you know, like, who is this? Like, we already know who everybody is. The only people you need to establish now are Black Panther and Spider-Man, who is not named in this, but you know he's going to be in the movie too. So you only need to establish T'Challa and Spider-Man. Everybody else, they already got established. We know who Ant-Man is. We know who Vision is. All these guys are already established. We get, you know, move forward. So yeah, this movie seems pretty fucking big. This seems like it's Age of Ultron 2. You know, it's crazy, but for the type of story they want to tell, makes perfect sense. I'm all for it, man. Give me this fucking movie right now. Again, freeze me and wake me up every time a new movie comes out. Yeah, you can tell I'm excited. Anyway, Brian, jump in here, man, because I know you're probably excited about this too.
Hey, I'm excited. That's why
Yes.
Yeah. Tony, I'm just waiting for that first trailer to drop.
Yes, and you'll watch it.
And then it begins again.
Oh, I love Marvel. Oh, man. CJ, what about you, man, as a fan of just the movies? What do you think about all this?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, again, they kind of help, you know, bridge the gap between everything. Again, not knowing much about the comics and stuff like that, this is kind of really my only, vision into these things. So, I sort of, again, I watch trailers and stuff like that nonstop, especially when I'm at work. So I'm kind of just waiting for the first thing to drop so I can, you know, I don't want to read too much into it. You guys probably know more about what the movie's about and where the story's sort of heading. I don't, so I kind of have that, you know, nervous, excited feeling where I'm kind of like, okay, so what's going to happen next? What is this, you know, what exactly is this about? So sometimes when you guys talk about certain things when it comes to comics and, like, where things are going, I kind of mute it or I fast forward so I don't hear anything.
Yes. That's all. So, excuse me, Chris, what about you, man?
Oh, I'm excited. Like, I can't wait to see that shit. I just want to see now. Okay, the taste was Hulk and Iron Man punching each other. So now I get to see Captain America and Iron Man punching each other. It's fantastic.
Yes, and new costumes for both of them, by the way. Iron Man has a new suit. Even Captain America's suit is not too different, but it, you know, the color's a little bit different. But yeah, we're gonna get new stuff, and yeah, dude, dude, it's gonna be them two fight each other and everybody else fight each other.
Yeah, I just want to see the pair-ups. I want to see who sides with who, because I have a feeling like we're gonna see an Iron Man War Machine fight, which would be awesome. I think they're gonna be on different sides of that argument.
Oh God.
I didn't see in the article. I didn't see Mark Ruffalo mentioned, so I don't know if
no Hulk. Remember, he's he's not there.
MIA,
and Thor, same thing. You know, he's off doing Asgard stuff.
He's like, my home is falling apart. Excuse me.
You know,
I got my own movie.
I'm trying not to say anything. He's doing Asgard stuff. But here's the thing I want to bring up. I love the fact that now these Marvel movies are pretty much like one piece of the entire puzzle. Like when you go like Ant-Man, I'm even more excited to see now because I know it's going to move the overall Marvel story forward. You know, and I like the fact that he's going to be in this movie now. It's like, okay, he is a real character. He's not just a one-off, you know. So that's the exciting thing about Marvel in general. It's like when you go see a movie, you're going to get the individual movie, but you're also going to get the larger piece of the puzzle, you know, which is fantastic. This is what the shit we've been waiting for our entire lives as comic fans. This shit right here, this is what we've seen in comics all the time, and now we're seeing it on a big screen, and it's being done so successful. This is the shit, and I forgot who said this to me. It's like, dude, DC must have saw this announcement and cried because, you know, they're not getting it. They're like, fuck, they beat us to it again. They're going to do another Avengers movie without calling it Avengers. Yeah, but it's great, man. Go ahead, Brian.
I just like how I forgot his name. Bilbo Baggins.
Bilbo Baggins is in the movie.
Martin Freeman, yeah.
Martin Freeman.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's cool. Bilbo's in it now.
Oh man.
Yeah, it seems like everyone just wants to get like a name just like attached to it. Like Age of Ultron, we had Gollum. You know, what's his name?
Yeah, Andy Serkis. Right.
Oh yeah,
Andy Serkis. He was not in a mocap suit for like the first time in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. It's just Marvel keeps doing this. Like, fucking hell, it's a great age to live in.
It really is the Marvel age.
I think Marvel announced that, and then DC put out those publicity pictures for Suicide Squad that made me cry. because they were terrible.
No, this is how it happened, right? Marvel puts out Age of Ultron. DC like, hey, we're gonna put like I'm fucking up the phrase here, but they're like, let's stop their tracks and put this out, and everybody laughed, and then Marvel's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's Civil War. It's like DC, nice try. Here you go. Here's what people really want.
Especially after like the whole Joker thing as well that they had, where like people just freaked out.
Oh.
That was insane.
I need to say that. Have you noticed that every single announcement that DC has made has been like, it hasn't been a unanimous thing. People either like it or they don't, or they're kind of nervous about it. Meanwhile, with Marvel, it's like, they're throwing money at the fucking screen every single announcement. But with DC, it's like, think about it. They rolled out Superman versus Batman. Think about that. They rolled that on. People were like, what the fuck? What is this? They rolled out the Joker. People weren't happy about that. Then they rolled out the Suicide Squad. It's like, well, what? What's going on now? Like, everything DC puts out has like been met with tepid enthusiasm. Meanwhile, with Marvel, it's like even guys throwing panties at the screen. Everybody's going nuts.
Well, they tie everything together.
Yeah, like you said.
They do it.
Yeah, Marvel has been building up all this stuff, and they're giving us the stories that we wanted to see. Like Civil War was a big deal, right? Like Avengers is a big deal, right? Batman vs Superman is just confusing because nothing led up to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Here's an awesome story that we had sitting here. Let's put that on the screen. And it's like nobody was waiting for Suicide Squad. I can't think of anyone who's like, if you wanted the DC movies, what would you want? I guarantee I could survey like 2 billion people and no one would say Suicide Squad.
See, but it's not even a Guardians of the Galaxy situation either, because by that point Marvel had already garnered all that, like trust from people. It's like, okay, here's Guardians of the Galaxy. People were like, what? Remember, Marvel has made good movies. Okay,
yeah,
like, here's Batman vs Superman. It's like, wait, what? How?
Yeah, they haven't earned that trust yet. And to pick Suicide Squad of all things, instead of going with heavier stories, they're going with that. It's like they're trying to emulate Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's like Marvel has already proven themselves. If Marvel made Rom the Space Knight, I would be excited for it. And he's a lame fucking character,
Yeah.
So you got Suicide Squad now coming from DC, and I'm just like, I don't know, guys. I don't know, man.
By the way, you just gave me a good plug for the editorial we just put out there. I think it was 5 of us. We wrote an editorial about the games that, because Telltale is making a game with Marvel, right? And we each wrote what we wanted, and I threw that in there, Chris, as a nod. I'm like, okay, we're not gonna get Rom the Space Knight out of this.
I mean, shit, you could go to the C list of Marvel and think like they probably could make this work if they were like, we're just gonna make the Skull Kill Crew, Full Killer, Madcap. I'd be like, okay, I'm excited for this because they've proven themselves.
Yeah, Squirrel Girl, here's my money.
Yeah.
Dude, if they get Ant-Man right, I think no one's gonna say shit about Marvel for a long time.
No.
It's like, okay, that's it. You guys have our fucking money.
And not only that was Guardians good, like on all of our list, Guardians was up there. It was at least in the top 5.
I loved it.
Yeah. Calling it good is an understatement, man. That movie was way better than we thought it was gonna be. It was like, holy shit! Think about it. It had people who never into comics like, this is awesome. Little baby Groot, that became a cultural thing. It's crazy what Marvel's doing, but yeah, DC, they haven't garnered that. It's like, could you imagine if they released the first Iron Man movie, then they make Avengers right after that? People would be like, what the fuck are you doing? But by the time Avengers actually came out, what did we have? We had Iron Man, we had Thor, we had Captain America, we had Incredible Hulk, and it was like, okay, we're ready for this. That's what DC should have done. But no, they want to rush it.
They didn't. Yeah, there should have been a Man of Steel too. And honestly, they should have worked very hard. And I don't know what they did wrong, but you should have just tied this into Dark Knight somehow. You had Batman movies. You should have made that Batman this Batman, but you didn't.
Even though they're all owned by the same company.
Yeah, it's I don't understand.
It's insane. All right.
Which then begs the question, like, why aren't Fox like mingling with X-Men and Fantastic Four?
Oh, there's talk about that now, actually. That
there's talk.
Yeah, there's talk. Yeah, and X-Men will at least have its universe start tied together. Like, was it Age of Apocalypse, Deadpool, and Gambit? They're going to be all tied together now.
Okay.
So again, people want to be Marvel now. That's what they want to be. Very, very interesting.
They're too big to be at this point.
Yeah, I think no one's touching Marvel right now. It's crazy. Sorry, DC fans, but it's the truth. All right, so let's start wrapping this up. A couple of things here. We're probably going to do the next spoiler alert for Game of Thrones because we said we're going to give it to you guys every 5 episodes or so. So we're going to do it after do a recap of these 5 episodes. Then we're going to do one for the season finale and stuff. I have some things to say about this season. I don't know about it. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, but this season I don't know. It's like what the fuck? I don't even know what the hell I'm watching anymore. But you guys will hear my thoughts on Monday. And last thing, happy Mother's Day to all the good mothers out there, not those skeezy bitches, because there's some bad mothers out there. Just be honest, man. All the mothers who actually out there, working for their kids and stuff, busting ass and stuff. Good for you, all that stuff. Enjoy the holiday. Hope you have grateful kids that shower you with gifts and all that. I'm gonna have 3 mothers at my house that day. So that's gonna be interesting.
Really?
Yeah, my mom, my aunt, and my sister. So it's like, whoa, shit.
So no games for Tony then that weekend.
Yeah, until that night, man. Actually, Game of Thrones. I've been watching Game of Thrones on Wednesdays now. That's how
Wow.
I'll watch it when I watch it. Meanwhile, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Chris, I saw that shit that night, boy, after Age of Ultron. Last time, I'm watching this shit.
I gotta do my marathon. There'll be periods, and this happened last season too, where I lapse on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and there'll just be one day where I'm just watching 8 episodes in a row, and just my mind is melting, oh my god.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna do that again.
All right, so yeah, there you go. Happy Mother's Day to all the good mothers out there. And that's it. CJ, man, thank you for being on. I hope it was everything you could have wanted.
It was great. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll try to have you back on in the future and stuff. And I think I know who I want on this month here, because usually right now we don't have a system for this. It's just, hey, can I be on the show? It's like, sure, you could be on the show. So I already have one guy lined up. He wants to be on, so we'll have him on probably at the end of this month or at the beginning of next month, because E3's coming, so that's going to be pretty crazy. So,
Is it Others Inc.?
No, it's not Others Inc.
One of these months, Others Inc. will be on, and I'll be like, yes, Others Inc. is on.
No, we had Others Inc. on the podcast, and we saw how that went. Oh, man. All right, so thank you guys for watching and listening. Be sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Check out Co-op, Baby in the Beard, Next to the Turntable, and Nerd Naught. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Throwdown Show and on Facebook's links down there and all that good jazz. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and I was joined by Brian Majoma.
I have no fun equipped this time. Just no more shoots-mans, please.
Fair enough. Chris Seeley.
Get Disney to retake the picture of Suicide Squad. Maybe they can make it for you and actually make it look good.
And CJ Bencourt.
I don't have a good tagline to follow up with them, so but thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome, you're welcome. All right, guys, see you next time. Later.
Later.